Hi, Twin Flames, and welcome back to Tarot for You 444. Thank you so much for being here as always. It's evening time here in Australia, and it's been raining. Um, I'm kind of in that sleepy energy, ready to curl up like a cat on the lounge or on the sofa and I don't know, fall asleep. But I thought I'd bring you a video because I touched on a topic the other day with regards to the twin flame journey, and I thought it might be of interest to you. And I was talking about the divine versus the distorted masculine and feminine energy, and I just wanted to, add a little bit onto this and then go in and explain to you, perhaps why your connection with your counterpart isn't working, and perhaps why, um, you know, um, you might need to understand a few little things with regards to this, and why it's not all coming together. Because, you know, um, sometimes you can click on a twin flame, informational video, and the general kind of, you know, I don't know, what am I trying to say? The general points will be, your twin flame is your mirror. Um, you know, your twin flame is, the other half of your soul. Your twin flame is your best friend, your lover, your counterpart, your significant other, your best, I think I said best friend already. Um, and so, all of these things are true, but we need to delve into understanding these things a little better, so we can understand, perhaps why there's all this separation. Because I know separation's a big topic at the moment, and I know union's also a big topic, because there are a lot of twin flames who are about to come into union and who are in union. And when I say union, I mean, final union, uh, um, as an end result. So, living together, perhaps married, perhaps partnering, perhaps working together. So, I mean, when I'm saying union in this particular video, I'm talking about, the end result of union. Okay, so let's talk about a few of these different topics. First of all, let's talk about mirroring as a first topic and what this means, because it does sound a little bit confusing. So I just want to raise this subject so that it takes the confusion out of it. So we all understand third dimensional consciousness relationships, and how that, if you dated someone, or if you were married to someone, or if you were even in a friends with benefits situation with someone, someone who's not just your friend, but a lover or a significant other, you'll have a relationship with them because generally, you click on some level. So, there'll be chemistry, there'll be, perhaps you like some of the same things, or have some of the same belief systems, perhaps. And so, you find yourself together, and that's a soulmate relationship. And these soulmate relationships, can, have growth in them, and can have, wonderful stability in them, and, they can have love in them, and they can, they can be good or bad, depending on, I don't know, depending on the circumstances, because there's a whole lot of things, within a relationship that make or break it. But with a twin flame relationship, with a twin flame, um, in the twin flame journey, there's a bit of a difference here, because we, instead of having this clicking energy where, you seem to fit with one another in a soulmate relationship, it's kind of like, you're a jigsaw puzzle, and you're putting the piece together and you fit because, you both like I don't know, you both like golf and you both like, watching Star Trek movies. that's a pretty fun one. But you know what I mean? You've both got similar interests, similar things, and there's some chemistry there. But with a twin flame, on the other hand, there'll be this mirroring that goes on. And this mirroring is where people start getting confused, because they're like, hang on a minute, what do you mean by mirroring? That's a pretty strange concept, because it's not a clicking into place like a jigsaw puzzle, like with a soulmate relationship. So let's use that metaphor for soulmate relationship. The puzzle pieces click together and it's a fit. Okay, now with with a twin flame, they are literally your mirror. Okay, so if you imagined that you are looking in the mirror, okay, let's imagine you get up in the morning and you've got a really bad hair, your hair's everywhere, and I don't know, some men listening might not have much hair, so I don't know, you've got a pimple on your face, or you've got, in the looks department, you literally look at yourself and, you might say, I don't know, I've got bags under my eyes this morning, or my hair's everywhere, or, I don't know, I spilled yogurt on my t-shirt this morning, and I better change my t-shirt, right? And so, on a superficial level, you can look in the mirror and see that there's a few little things that you might want to change. You might want to change that top. You might want to put it in the wash and get a new one because you spilt yogurt on it. You might want to, hop in the shower and wash your hair, and I don't know, perhaps, use a facial scrub and get rid of that pimple or that kind of thing. So that's the mirroring on a superficial level, where you think, oh, there's a few little things that I could just change because, that's just regular maintenance kind of stuff. All right. As you would in everyday life, if you, I don't know, each day you kind of think, you might look around in the house and say, oh, maybe I shouldn't put the kettle there because it's too close to the toaster. And so you'll shift things around. You can do this with yourself. You can look at little things and say, perhaps my diet's not great. I might just need to change it a little bit. Perhaps my, way of perceiving that, particular topic, about politics or religion or something, maybe I need to just change my perception so I can be a little bit more open-minded. So there's levels of different depth, when you look in the mirror and take a look at yourself, you're looking at yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, and also spiritually, all right? So what occurs here now is that when you meet your twin for the first time, all these triggers will start happening, because not only do are you attracted to them like you would be a soulmate, but it's times 1,000, you know what I mean? Like the level of intensity is so great, and it's kind of as if they can see straight through you. So, without even saying that you've got an issue, that you, I don't know, maybe you feel guilty because you, I don't know, once you answered your auntie back in a conversation and then you told your cousin that you hated her or something, and you've got this guilt about that, you know what I mean? It's like your twin flame can feel this, like not necessarily know all of your hidden secrets and all of the things that, are within you, but because they have the same soul, they pick up on it, and in a conversation perhaps they might say something which triggers you, and you kind of go, oh my God, I forgot that I was really upset about, what I said about my auntie, and I really feel guilty about that, let's just say, as an example. And not only do they trigger these things within you that come up to the surface to be purged, I guess you could say, Um, but they make you realize just how much you want to change for the better. Like how much, like for some, you know, some twin flames might say, oh my God, before I met my twin, I was literally in such a low vibrational state. You know, I was literally depressed and ready to, you know, I don't know, I shouldn't laugh, but you know what I mean. Like I was so sad and so miserable and so not taking care of myself, you know, because it triggers that in you because they are literally your mirror. So it's literally like looking at yourself in the mirror, and all of the little superficial things will come up and you can change them easily. You know, you can change a t-shirt, you can change the color of your hair, you can change the way you, I don't know, and the way you yell at your neighbor. You might want to tone that down a bit, you know, as an example, as a joke, right? But it's all the bigger stuff that also comes up for healing. So, you know, have you got any childhood trauma that's not healed? Have you got any, I don't know, deep dark secrets that you haven't forgiven yourself for? You know, because we've all made mistakes in the past. You know, did you realize how much you weren't taking care of yourself before you met your twin? Because your twin will kind of maybe, without even meaning to, remind you of the things you should be doing for yourself, because they love you unconditionally and they're sending that vibration of unconditional love. It kind of triggers you into realizing that, you know, perhaps you weren't giving yourself unconditional love. And so I'll move on from mirroring now and talk about unconditional love for a moment. So when you are in a space of unconditional love, you're in your divine energy. So you'd be in either your divine masculine or divine feminine energy. And of course, remember, we have divine feminine and masculine energies within us, and we need to balance those out. Okay. So obviously I'm going to be using the words divine masculine, divine feminine as, you know, the opposite counterparts, or the complementary counterparts to one another. But I want to bring up the topic now of unconditional love and say that when you're in a high vibrational state, unconditional love becomes second nature. Okay, so you'll automatically be inclined to want intimacy in a sensual way. You'll automatically be inclined to have a passion for life each day. You'll automatically be inclined to be loving and have humility and show, you know, to yourself and others, you will show kindness and warmth and some sort of inspiration. Okay, you'll also want the best for yourself and your counterpart when you're in your divine masculine and or feminine energy. Okay, now in the distorted version, which, you know, can come about at any time when we get in our ego, right? If we get in our ego or our mind too much, we can get into the distorted energy. Okay, so that's when the lower vibration or frequency, you know, brings on these negative connotations. So this is when you'll feel, you know, expressions like jealousy or anger or a lack of connection to God or source energy. You know, you'll be judgmental of self and others. You might even be degrading to cultures or races or to the opposite sex. You'll validate toxic behaviors of yourself and others. And, you know, you might even take part in, you know, lustful encounters with karmics or, you know, who, you know, for gratification. Okay, so you'll seek pleasure, you know, a quick kind of pleasure, not a long-term pleasure in things. That might be drugs, that might be alcohol, that might be food, that might be pharmaceuticals, you know, the misuse of different things. And so then we have what we would call the distorted energy versus the divine energy. Okay, so this separation that occurs in the twin flame journey can happen for one of two reasons. Number one, you've been triggered by your twin flame because of the mirroring that occurs either on a subconscious, as in they didn't mean to trigger you, it's just their literal energy triggered you, or they've consciously triggered you by bringing up, I don't know, a family situation, let's say, and then you remembered that, you were mean to your auntie or something, right? So they can either subconsciously or consciously bring something up for you, whether they mean to or not is irrelevant. It's kind of like they they know how to do it because they're, your counterpart, your complement, all right? So this is the first reason that you can go into separation, is because something has been triggered in you and you need to literally go away and sort that out for yourself. I don't really want to use the term healing because we don't want to be in this constant state of thinking that we need to heal the self. We need to grow the self would be a better word rather than healing. I don't know, healing just kind of sounds, a little bit too medical in nature. So I don't want to bring that word in. I want to say that, you're growing. If you're purging and forgiving yourself, or changing your perception on some kind of way, shape or form, then you're growing, So your twin flame will either trigger you so that you'll grow, and then you go into separation because you need that time alone to kind of, work it out in your own mind, right? Or what will happen is one or both of the twins can get in their distorted energies and be low vibrational. And so when they're in low vibrational, they're far less likely to come in this loving way, in this beautiful, kind way, in this warm, intimate way, in this passionate way. Okay, so if you are a divine feminine or masculine in the divine energy, right, and you've got a distorted counterpart, it's going to be very, very hard for you to come into union and stay in union. Okay? And as well as this trigger that happens because of the mirroring. All right? So then we move on to the last section, which I want to say is that when you work on yourself and raise your vibration into that divine energy, this is when you'll come into union, because your twin flame will automatically be, via the law of attraction, the universal law, right, that like attracts like. So, you're already on the same frequency as your twin because you're the same soul, but it's your vibration that can go up and down. Your vibration can be low and distorted, or it can go higher into this divine energy. Okay, so you'll always be the same soul, and you'll always be together in the ethereal or 5D consciousness realm, but in this physical reality, the only way to come into union is by working on the self, removing any blocks and growing and descending as much as possible to your best self, to the best vibration of yourself. Okay, and then your twin will automatically be magnetically attracted to you. And I think if I quickly give an example of a restaurant idea here, you go to the restaurant and you sit down, and there's photographs on the menu of all of the delicious meals that you can order, so there'll be entrees and mains and desserts, and what entices you about this menu, whether you're divine, feminine or masculine, doesn't matter, but what entices you is how great each of these dishes looks. You know, if you've ever been to an Italian restaurant or a Chinese restaurant, or, you know, perhaps even Thai, you know, and you see a picture, or even someone at the other table had a meal brought out, and you see how well it's presented, you know, it makes you salivate. You know, you literally, you know, can smell it and taste it, and you want to touch it and you want to be with it, don't you? And so automatically you know what your order is. Okay. Now, if we went to a mall, let's say, and walked into a restaurant that wasn't very sanitary or wasn't very clean, and, you know, they're chopping up meals, and it just kind of looks like, I don't know, mush on a plate, you're going to be far less likely to be attracted to wanting it. Okay, so this is where the twin flames become more attracted to one another. You know, if you are at your highest vibration and, you know, have grown as much as you possibly can within yourself to make yourself whole, you're going to be that wonderful restaurant meal that looks like $1 million on the plate, you know, on a soul level and an emotional and physical level, right? And you know what I mean? Like, all of you, not just the way you look, but the way you feel, the way you present yourself, you know, all of it combined is going to be far more attractive. You know, you're going to smell nicer, you're going to taste nicer, you're going to look nicer, you're going to feel nicer. And that is, you know, I don't know, irresistible to your twin. Now, if you're going through the dark night of the soul, or if you've ever been through the dark night of the soul, you'll know that you literally look like the mush on the plate at the other restaurant. And you can, you know what I mean? You don't even, you know, if you took a selfie that day, or for that time frame, you would look like mush on a plate from that from that restaurant in the mall, in comparison. And, you know, you would, you know, if you look back, and if you take selfies of yourself or whatever, and you look back at it at a time, you know, when you did that, and you can see the difference in how you looked, you know, the difference is immense sometimes, you know, because when you grow and come into your heart space, you know, and when you work on yourself, you know, everything changes. You know, you can spiritually change, you can emotionally change, you can mentally change, and, you know, you can also change, you know, out of this ego and into this beautiful heart space. And so, you know, this is not to say that you don't have any boundaries or anything, but, you know, it's coming into this lovely space where you feel like you could enjoy intimacy, you feel like you could be passionate, you feel love, you feel humility, you feel a connection to your God or source energy and your higher self. You feel inspired to get up in the morning and, you know, not only go to work if you have to go to work, but, you know, do your crafts. You know, if you paint, or you draw, or you sing, or you dance, or you, I don't know, collect stamps, is what Harry just said. You know what I mean? So you have a passion for life. You'll feel joy from the inside out when you're in this divine energy, you know. And in the distorted energy, you know, the mush on the plate, you know, this is someone who's not taking care of themselves. This is someone who is looking haggard because they're feeling that way. You know, the way we feel on a mental and emotional level will affect our health too, will affect the way we look, will affect the way we present ourselves to, you know, not only our own, you know, family and friends, but to the world. Okay, so, you know, I'm not saying that, you know, I'm not being superficial in any way and saying, you know, that you have to, you know, dye your hair a certain color or wear makeup or not, or all of that. I'm just saying, in general, you just want to feel good. In general, you want to be taking care of yourself in a healthy way with regard to food, you know, on a physical level, and in a mental way, you want to be telling yourself, you know, a nice story each day that, you know, everything's working out for you. Maybe, you know, doing some affirmations. I am beautiful. I am loved. I am, you know, fantastic. I am confident. I am capable. You know, you can do those I am statements. And then you can come into this divine energy. And when you do that, you know, the codependency can fall away, because you're only reliant on yourself to feel good. And then if your twin does the same, only relies on themselves to feel good, right? As in self-growth, self-love, then you can both come together as two whole people who then complement one another, rather than being, you know, in a shell, let's say. I don't know why I use the word shell, but I think it's because, you know, if you opened up a shell and it's hollow and there's parts missing, as in, you know, you're not quite there with a few different things in the growth department that you want to do, right? Then you kind of feel empty. And so if you're coming from a distorted energy of feeling empty and trying to fill it with someone else, then it becomes a codependency. And then it becomes, you know, a distorted energy overall. So the idea and the reason why many twin flame coaches and you know, spiritualists and experts on this twin flame subject say, you know, you must go within and you know, and grow. A lot of them use the word heal, but I'm going to say grow, right, is so that you're a whole person as much as possible. I mean, we're always going to have our flaws and we're always going to have our fears and things. You know, we're never going to be perfect. We're human. So, you know, you don't have to become enlightened. You don't have to become Buddha before you come into union. But you just have to work on yourself enough to know that there's a divine energy and there's a distorted energy. And when you come into this divine energy, then everything's going to be automatically attracted to you, including your twin flame. You know, this is when the job of your dreams will show up. The friend of your dreams might show up. I don't know, you might be at the shop one day and, you know, I don't know, you were looking for tuna on the shelf and there's none left, and then, I don't know, you've been working on yourself and all of a sudden, you know, the tuna delivery comes in right when you're there. You know, you know, magical things start happening. I don't know if tuna on the shelf is magical, but I don't know. I like tuna a lot, so for me that would be magical. If you were after tuna, it wasn't there, and then all of a sudden it appeared, then that would be great. I don't know. I think if you were a cat, that might be special too. But you know what I mean? It's the simple things that you can learn to love. It's the getting up in the morning and smelling the coffee and being grateful that you've got coffee to smell. It's, you know, that tracksuit that you wear or those sweatpants that you wear on a lazy Sunday afternoon. It's that, you know, the smell of rain. It's the, you know, you want to be near the ocean and you can't be, but you could go on YouTube and listen to ocean sounds. You know, there's a whole range of things you can do to keep your vibration high. And whether or not your twin flame is willing to do their own work is completely and entirely up to them. You know, the twin flame journey is not this, oh wow, I found my twin and now they have to come into union and come into mission with me. You know, that's not the thing at all. That's not the case at all. The truth of the matter is that we all have free will, and you can't make someone be with you, or do mission with you. And you might not even want to do a mission together. You might just want to come into union, or you might not. And it's completely up to both parties. You are two separate people, and you do have free will. The earth plane, is a free will plane. So I mean, obviously twin flames in union is a great outcome for humanity and for the planet if they're going to do some sort of service to humanity. But it is totally up to each counterpart to decide, even whether or not they even want to come into union or do any kind of mission or light work at all. So yeah, this is kind of food for thought, and I guess I'll put it in my Ascension playlist, because I think it's relevant. I think it's going to help a lot of people to understand that, if you're not coming into union with your twin, it's because they're triggering you because of the mirror, or because one of you is in your distorted energy. And remember, you can flip from divine energy to distorted at any time. As soon as you come into your ego and have a meltdown, you're literally in your distorted energy. So for all of us, we're all human, and we can go, our vibration can go lower, and that's always expected. But over time, you'll get used to being in the divine energy as opposed to the distorted energy. And this is when you can stay in a joyful state, regardless of other people and how they're behaving, whether that's your twin flame or a karmic or a soulmate. Okay, so happiness comes from within. It doesn't come from outside of you. It also comes from your connection to God or source energy or whoever you believe in, right? As well. So your spiritual self needs work or growth. Your mental self needs work and growth. Your physical self needs work and growth. And your emotional self needs work and growth. And this will affect the whole chakra system on an energetic level. Okay? So anyway, I think I've said enough just for this one video. So I'll say goodbye to you now, and I'll talk to you very soon. I'm sending you love and light and peace from Australia. And Harry says hi. And Sally and Larry are doing really well. They're still on their honeymoon. So they've just kind of, I don't know, I think they're out in the backyard somewhere, but they're hiding. They're camping together. Because they can't travel at the moment because of the restrictions. However, they said to say hi. They kind of called out to me earlier and told everyone to say hi. All right, anyway, have a great day, night, afternoon or evening, wherever you are in the world. And thank you for putting up with my silliness as well, because that's part of who I am. And we get too serious sometimes, so it's important to have a little bit of fun. All right, bye.